Hands in the back if you can hear me okay. Great. So I'm Jason Shutt. We're getting some mics ready up there. I'm actually from Bainbridge Island, but Whidbey's a great place too. Nick Hansen is on the other side of the stage. He's with Windermere Coaching. He flew in from Colorado for this. David Hogan lives on Mercer Island. And Amy Allen from Poulsbo is on her way up. One of the things, before I do a quick introduction, one of the things with coaching is that there's always a goal, there's always a challenge, there's always something that we're not just doing something now and then forgetting about it, but there's a challenge. And so we've got this QR code for questions, and as Nick and I were chatting today about how to end this, there was an idea about, show of hands, how many of you you've seen stuff today that is just incredible and you want to implement, you're inspired? Yes, right? So I don't know how we're going to follow all that up, but we're going to try. And one thing in the spirit of a challenge with coaching is, what is it that you're going to implement and make a goal? Is it how many things you're going to do, when you're going to do it by? Make it simple so it's doable. But maybe, put in questions if you have questions as we're having this conversation. But I think we'd love to see and hear, and I'll share at the end some things that you guys are making a goal of. So it says questions, but I'm an outside the box thinker. So off the cuff, I'm coming up with, give us a goal, and then we can share some with the group when we're done. So to jump in, again, Amy Allen from Poulsbo, David Hogan from Mercer Island, Nick Hogan from Colorado, Windermere Coaching, Jason Shutt from Bainbridge Island. I used to be a middle school teacher. I taught middle school science. And the thing about teacher world is we're always talking about being lifelong learners, being curious. And so one of those things for me is if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so me coming over to Windermere in large part was the people and the collaboration that happens here. And so me wanting to be involved in coaching was along that same spirit. And so I'm here with three other folks that do coaching, all with Nick. An average of 5 years, each of us between. And when I signed up, or when I raised my hand to volunteer, to help in some part, I didn't think I'd be up here doing this right now. But the fun part about the planning is you gave us content, right? This is by brokers, for brokers. When we were looking through the responses you put in that survey, the things that came out a lot were how to generate consistent business, how to build and grow your business, how to have work-life balance, and how to have systems, create systems and build teams. And there's more than we're going to cover in half an hour. But the thing that didn't come out in there, but that coaching highlights too, is my philosophy that I've taken from these guys is we're building a great business so that we can have a great life. There's been a lot of talk about balance already and things that we do. And that's, of course, the end goal. So with that, before we jump in to the questions, would Amy, would you give us how many years you've been in business, how many years you've been coaching, and why you chose coaching?
Okay. I've been in the business for 23 years. What was the next one? How long I've been in coaching?
How long you've been coaching?
I've been coaching with Nick for 5 years. Started in 2020. What's the next one? I gotta go one at a time. No snow plows.
Okay, no snow plows. Why did you call and decide to be coached?
It was 2020, and I had a high school sophomore who was educating herself at home online, and business was starting to really ramp up. This was May, June, and get kind of crazy. And I thought, I just need to get the bumpers back on and get realigned with what I need to be doing to be successful. And so I reached out to coaching and ended up coaching with Nick, and that's where I got started. Yeah.
I've been in the business 19 years and coaching with Nick for 8 of those. And the story about that is I was doing maybe 25 or 30 transactions a year, solo agent. We were expecting our first child, And I was, the burnout one this morning was a good one for me to listen to. But you've helped a lot with that. And we were just done, right? And so I needed some balance there, and you were able to provide that. Minor detail, we were completely doing a gut addition on our house, living with my parents for over a year, who were also doing a gut addition on another house. So imagine pregnant wife living with her parent-in-laws, and we're all still friends after this. But that was the driver of really like, my life is too many moving pieces. I need some help and some balance.
Before I get to you, so I've been in business, it's my 12th year. Been coaching. My first call with Nick was January of 2020, so we had a couple calls when the world was normal, and then thank goodness I was already in play. And I went to coaching because I had hit a glass ceiling, and then one year I went backwards. And I'm in a small town with the whole teacher thing, had a good reputation, and that going backwards by 35% told me I wasn't really all that special to just survive and dominate on my own. And so I realized I needed someone to show me how to run my business like a business. So with that, Nick, give us quick your background, how long you've been in real estate, and what led you then from where you started to coaching.
Yeah, real quick. My wife and I relocated to Loveland, Colorado in 1999. My aunt and uncle were working at the group. Some of you may know the group from Ninja Selling. Happened to have lunch with Larry Kendall. Had no idea who Larry Kendall was, who's the head of Mastery and Ninja. That afternoon, after lunch, we wrote on a house, put it under contract, didn't tell anyone, and relocated in Colorado 6 months later. Started in the business, was in sales, then ended up in management, and then also started their mortgage and title company, and then left and started coaching one-on-one in 2014.
Okay. So how many realtors have you coached?
Too many. No, that's not true. I knew this question was coming. It's fortunate. So I'm a part of Windermere Coaching, but I also coach other companies, owners, and agents around the country. But since 2014, I think I'm around like 735, something like that. What was around. But I think there's 35 present here today that I either have coached or currently working with. Which that was sort of fun to get a reunion with some of them.
Yeah, that's cool. So that was a loaded question because are all coaching clients alike?
No. In fact, these three up here are not alike at all. There are some similarities, no, but I think the art of coaching in real estate, I've never met two realtors that are alike, ever. Everyone has some uniqueness that you bring to the game. But no, everyone is different, and I can tell you, not one plan works for everyone. It doesn't.
So the next question is, what makes someone coachable? And maybe, this is an unscripted conversation. These guys know some of the prompts coming, but Nick at his conference in Arizona every year teases things out of people that he wants to, and he's been teed up to do that. So what makes generally someone coachable, but maybe tease out from people that you've worked with in this room or us?
Yeah, not I'll say a lot of people ask, does it work for everyone? No, it doesn't work for everyone. I have a great example. I had two clients in Washington, D.C., and one of them was just killing it, and the other one was like, anything I would say, that doesn't work in our market. That doesn't work in our market. I'm like, wait a minute, Joe over there is doing it, and I think he's doing pretty well. So really, coachability comes down to where do you want to go and how important it is to you. And then sometimes you find out that you're not really willing to make the change. Like you're okay. You have enough, and you don't want to go there. But I'll say that's I'm going to say 95% of the people that I've ever had an opportunity to interview or work with, it's all worked out. So most people are coachable. Well, I guess that's because they come to coaching, right? Or they ask. So maybe that's not a fair question. But let me just expand. So the three up here, early adopter, did everything right off the bat, was amazing. Jason was the opposite. He was a late adopter. It took him a little while to get rolling. And Amy is like steady Eddie, right in the middle.
My new
So-
name's Eddie.
What's that,
My new name's Eddie.
Eddie?
Often what, all right, I'm gonna full disclosure on Jason. So sometimes we have to get a little bit personal. He was a school teacher, right? Well, I would always like, hey, Jason, what happens when your students don't turn in their homework? Then I'm like, hey, what happens to your kids when they go to school and they don't turn in their homework? And then all of a sudden it hit home a little bit.
And now you call us out.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, luckily in school, there's bad grades, you flunk out, there's things like that. And for me, luckily, I never got fired. There was the late adoption that better late than never, right? There's a little late bloomer. Okay. So some specific things that people asked for in that survey: generating referrals as a new agent, how to grow and maintain that pipeline, daily or weekly routine to keep that keeps engaged in real estate, and what's the number one most valuable lead generation. I'm going to give it away. I wrote something down earlier from today's, forget which piece it was, but relationships are free. So Nick, tell us prospecting, coaching, staying in flow, not coaching, but staying in flow.
You know, a lot of times people will ask, we get asked a lot, and I'm only one of the coaches. I mean, we have a great staff, but they'll say, how do you get the results that you get? And the number one answer is a scorecard. And what's amazing is if you look at what's on a scorecard, it's the activities that are going to generate the call that says I want to buy or sell. And it's all relationship based. It's really pretty easy. I coached a gentleman last year. He's 24 years old, 25 years old, and he won the 30 under 30 for NAR. And here's what I've learned. At 24 years old, you don't know any different. I'd tell him what to do, and he would just go do it. He wouldn't think twice. He wouldn't fabricate a story. Oh my gosh, they don't want to hear from me. This is going to be a sales call. But the foundation of real estate's really easy. It's how many people know, like, and trust you, and then you got to stay in flow with them.
So then tease out, have a conversation with these two and me about relationships, staying in flow, how that's generated business from your years working with us.
Yeah, well, I'd ask David when we started working together, you got into a routine pretty quickly.
Yeah, the routine came quickly, I think, but then the busier you get, the easier it is to get out of the routine, right? And so you were, I think, imperative in going, if there's this many people and you can't touch that many people, what about client parties, and what about doing more things with more people at the same time? And that has been pretty transformational for our business in order to just, I'm kind of a grab a beer guy. And so you were like, great, go to a brewery. Like, don't be authentic. There's so much talk about being authentic today. And it was, I had resisted this idea that it had to be, I'm a perfectionist on top of it, and it had to be perfect. And that's just not true. So I think one little lead generation or, tip would be like, try something that is authentic to you, but maybe try it in bulk. It doesn't have to be, this is not me, this is not where I'm comfortable in this kind of setting, but I am very comfortable getting coffee or beer with somebody, and I can do that a lot of different times, and now that is a part of our weekly flow system that we do, but it's also smart to try to hit a lot of people at once. It's easier.
I have a saying that real estate is a contact sport. So if you don't like where you're at, or your pipeline's not very robust, then look at how many contacts you're going to make on a weekly basis, and you might need to double it to get that pipeline back up or get your business back to where you are. But yeah, David did a really good job of being with his people. He enjoys being with his people, and it was consistent. And then once the business started ramping up, he was able to systematize and still spend that quality time, those quality touches with his people.
And one thing, you actually came to a client event one time. You happened to be in town, and it was one of our first ones. But you said it stuck with me, and I've told a lot of different people this. But you said it was fun to see the clients interact with other clients, and I had looked at the original client event as like, I'm saying thank you, all the reasons we do a client party, but to see everybody's kids that didn't know each other having fun and playing mini golf and drinking beer and eating pizza, like it was pretty cool. And they remembered that, and now it's year after year.
Yeah. How about you?
So I'm going to turn around a little bit. So smaller groups, I've done smaller group events with, don't know, 10 to 15 people at a time has worked really well for me. And backing up a little bit, in 22, my husband became very sick. And we had to, Nick and I had many conversations on how I was going to do this. I became the sole breadwinner in our household, and I had to figure it out. I didn't have a choice. So completely pared down all my expenses, was going to cut the coaching too, and decided, no, I can't. I need to keep it. This is really important for me to have, to keep my sanity and to keep my group of people that we all coach with. So thankfully I did, and it worked out great. And my husband's doing much better now, so that's the best part. But I think that you do what you can, and if you are in that situation, you just, everything gets automatized. Is that the right word?
Yep.
Yeah. So everything was automatic, all of my mailings, everything. And what was really interesting was that all of a sudden, the people that I was working with that came to me were people that were in the same kind of situation that I was. I can't explain it, I don't know how, but all of a sudden I had all these caregivers that I was helping buy and sell homes. So I think that the more intentional you become with your business, the more attracted those kinds of people are going to be to you. So it's been good.
You know, I was just going to add to that. Life happens, right? Life happens. We don't know what's going to happen the next 6 months, 12 months. But I think one of the fundamental philosophies we have at Windermere Coaching is we want to build an amazing real estate business, but not at the sacrifice of quality of life. They can go hand in hand. And I think that's very, very important.
Could you, Amy, give us some examples of, excuse me, during that time, what did you do to keep consistent? You know, you said you stuck with coaching because you needed the people and the systems in place. People want to know about systems, and even for people that don't need coaching, what do you do to be consistent that helped you build your business? You said you're having the best year ever this year, so you've done some things to build. Can you give us some examples?
Really, it comes down to the basics that we've all been taught. Staying in contact with your people is really important. Writing notes. I would be going to doctor's appointments at University of Washington and taking my note cards with me and writing those while we were waiting for things. And, you know, making calls when I could. And again, going back to the people that I was working with, they understood. So it was okay. And I was able to adjust things and work the way that I needed to work during that time. My small group events were very intentional, and like you said, David, it's so much fun watching your people get together and meet each other, and all of a sudden they have all these commonalities, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's great.
Great. You know, interesting, I wrote down from one of the pieces on close today that, you know, we're in the business of being in people's lives. I forget if it was Todd or Krishna that said that, but that was, you know, we are in the business of being in people's lives. So the authenticity, the adding value is crucial. So to transition then, like David said, you know, he's done a good job of getting so busy you can't do it all, right? It's been a theme of today across the sessions too. So one thing people ask, you know, I like how someone put it, how do you crack the assistant or the team code? So can you, Nick, give us some basics to that? And then, you know, I'm much older than David, but I look up to David and what he's done with his team. So hopefully you can tease out from him a bit, like some of those. It's not an easy thing, but.
Sure. I always, you know, most of the people we work with, the intention is to continually build and build and build your business. And there's usually three markers, one of three things that will happen. You'll get to a point where your customer service will decrease. You forget a date, deadline, something like that's going to happen. The second is you don't have time to prospect, right? You don't have time, and all of a sudden you're riding the roller coaster. Oh, I have all this business, I have zero business. And so you're always riding that roller coaster. And then the third is your quality of life. Your family doesn't know you, relationships are bad, your quality of life. So typically one of those three things, if not two, are going to show up at the same time, and that means you need help. And so those are things to look for. And then you need help. And I'll say David did it. I think two of his team members are here today, but David did a really, really good job. Number one, the mindset was, I can make whatever I want to make, and I'm going to have an amazing quality of life. So that mindset's important, because I think everyone in here probably has someone in their office. You go, I don't want that business because their life is all about real estate. I don't want that. But I can tell you, it's unlimited, really, what you can do. It's just, you have to understand the steps to get there, right? And I'll say, David, maybe you can reflect, but you recognized early on that you need it. We played what if. Hey, what if you made this much this year? Would you invest this much to increase your quality of life? And it actually happened.
Yeah, and I think some of it too is, it's always like real estate doesn't handle oh my gosh, what is it? Distractions. Real estate doesn't handle distractions very well. And we had a journey having the 2 kids that we did. We're having a different journey with the kids we have, and there's a lot of just distractions. And you've been helpful in going, that doesn't mean that the business has to suffer. And in fact, it can grow and thrive because you just need to change where you're prioritizing your time. And I think that's been the biggest mindset shift in whether it's having a team or an assistant or a VA, don't think about it as a big team thing. Just if real estate's a contact sport, if it's been, today's theme has all been about our people and loving on our people. Well, you have to leave time to do that. And that has to be my priority. And the other things are really important in client experiences and systems. And we have that stuff is all dialed. Thank you. But it's because they're also now allowing me to be with the people more. So.
Oh, I'm just asking this off the cuff. Have you tried any help?
She's right there. It's going to happen in January.
I'm almost there. I do have a transaction coordinator that handles all the paperwork, and she's fabulous. And we've been having several discussions in the past few months about, okay, it's time. It's time to take that next step and do that. And I'm just about there. Yeah. Getting there.
And I'm the late bloomer.
Jason's late bloomer. Jason puts his toes in the water, then he retracts back really quick. No, but what I'll say, I think one of the keys, and there's a lot of people that have done it really, really well in here, but it's an investment. It's not an expense in your business. It's an investment. So think about what's that next investment that will help you ramp up and get to where you want to be.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you to who submitted this question. This is great. Can each of you quickly share a few specific positive changes that you've seen since coaching? Income, work-life balance, et cetera. I think one time, coaching calls, well, they always start with what's the best thing that's happened in your business in the last 2 weeks. So the call just starts on a positive tone no matter what's going on. But once a month or so, there's a rate your business on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your life on a scale of 10, and rate your health on a scale of 10. And those 3 have to average 8+. So how about, does one of you want to go first? To the question someone asked of something positive that's happened since you've done this?
Well, I have to say that the positivity for me that sticks out is I've done a lot of coaching through the years. I've done them all. This particular coaching group that we have with Nick and our opportunity to all get together at the end of the year and our calls that we get to have throughout the year, the referrals have been incredible. My friend David here gave me a referral last year that really calculates out to 13 years worth of coaching. So for me, it's like, okay, well, this is great. I love this. What we're doing and learning and coaching is wonderful, but this whole referral thing is a complete benefit and it's an investment. And that investment pays off when you strengthen those relationships with everyone in the group. So I think it's been
And I think you always say eliminate the noise, right? And I think the other theme of this morning was there's a lot of noise. And we all know how to do this job and we know how to do it well, but we also have to be reminded myself very much included, to just fucking do it. Like, just do the job that you know how to do and we'll be successful. But there's so much stuff swirling around in the world and we just can't listen to all of it. And I also think I am naturally an optimist. I want to believe things will happen the right way. You reminding us to say something good that's happening in your business is very important. I think, you naturally kind of, if something's going south, you just want to talk about that. And it's like, well, that's not the only thing we should be talking about. Let's talk about something that actually, you made money, somebody was happy doing something. So focus on that.
Maybe I shouldn't say this. I'm going to say this, but one of the joys is watching everyone and changing their lives and seeing their families develop and all that type of stuff, their relationships and quality of life off the roof. But I will say, David, purchasing the home in this neighborhood, which is the first time I've ever been to Sun Katie, this place is unbelievable. So I think you've done a very good job in your business.
Well, so that's funny. You said, I was so scared to buy that house. And you were just like, it's the right thing to do. But sometimes you are a part therapist, just like our clients are to us, right? We're a therapist on one level and we know how to help them through this process. But life gets in the way, and that was life getting in the way in a significant purchase for us. But you were very helpful in going, it's the right thing to do. So you just have to jump. So.
That was March of 2020.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what happened right after that. So it was pretty good timing.
And now you had a place to stay when you came.
Yeah,
here.
now
So
I have a place to stay.
I'll share. I like how David said, the stuff is always coming at us, stuff is swirling at us all the time. And it's even more chaotic when you have the superpower ADD like I do. So for me, the positive thing is, so what? Business, life, and health. So my business, I now know what I need to do. I have systems that I never had before. And now that I'm implementing them 5-6 years later consistently, i.e. finally doing a scorecard, I feel like I have control. So then boundaries on time and all those things just seem to settle in and take a routine. Life, my family is super important to me, and I didn't think I could have work-life balance in this business, and I've had it for years now. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. And then health, it was arguably last year at the conference in Arizona that the Windermere coaching guys put on that something was said, and I became a 5 a.m. gym guy. And I wouldn't have expected it a year ago, but I now love going to the gym a few mornings a week and getting that cardio in. I didn't go today, and I'm actually kind of ashamed of it, so give me all the break later. But
Well, tell them what Doug Simcock told you.
okay, so Doug Simcock, for him, also family really important. He's got kids and grandkids, and for him, it's important to be able to take them on trips and spend time with them. And so the way he phrased it was, if he works out first thing in the morning, he's never once regretted that throughout the day. But if he doesn't work out in the morning, then he regrets it all day.
All day.
And I had heard previously on podcasts Michael Fanning say, when you're in a hotel and you go to the gym at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, you're pretty much guaranteed to be the only one there. And the next day I stayed at the Phoenix airport the next day, and I was the only one in the gym in the morning, and took my kids up to Grand Canyon, and I was the only one out hiking before dusk. And so it is an early bird gets the worm kind of thing. So, okay, do we have other questions that have come in? What are some examples of client get-togethers? Your favorite? We heard David's. Amy, have you done one?
Get-togethers? Yes, I loved we did a wreath building workshop a couple of years ago. We have a local place in Poulsbo that does them, and I hired it out for my people. And again, everyone connecting and meeting each other was fun. I have one coming up at our local grocery store that has done a major renovation, and they've added a classroom type thing. So we're gonna do something fun there. Yeah.
Okay, we'll wrap it up with this. Someone asked, are there pros and cons of group coaching versus individual coaching? I think it's awesome. This company has given us all the path for free. And what I've learned, one of the things in the Windermere 5 that Marguerite shared this morning was collaboration. This company is off the hook. I now do APRs and feel confident because of Saul over here and the collaboration that started 2 years ago, because You just pick up the phone. I've called all kinds of people in this company because of something. So you can get that from the group coaching just by logging in at 10 o'clock Pacific time on, for free. All the way to the individual then, having an accountability. I'm humble enough to admit that, yeah, I'm almost 50, I'm a grown man, but I like having someone to press on me, right? Debate club is like, there's tension, there's back and forth. He will tell me I'm wrong, and I have to react to that. So with that, any closing thoughts? No?
I'll just say, the collaboration is a lot of fun, and we host an event, and anyone here is more than welcome to come. It's in Phoenix, Arizona, the middle of first week of December, two days. But you're more than welcome to come. It's fun. People from around the country. But one of my back in the day when I was at the group, managed 210 agents, we averaged, I think, 32 transactions per agent. So we were number one or number two in the entire country. And then when I got off into coaching, I sort of, my myth was if I work with someone for more than 6 months, I'm a failure as a coach. Because my philosophy is coach for independence, not dependence. Like, I want the people to know what they need to do and do it. And so my very first client that I ever had one-on-one, I still have today. I had a call with him this morning, 11 years, 36 calls, 3 calls a month, 36 calls a year for 11 years. And I'm like, Brent, why are we still doing this? He's like, I do not want to go backwards. He goes, I know I will go backwards and I don't want to do it. But, coaching isn't for everyone, but if you want to make a change, you want to ramp it up or give it a shot. I mean, as I don't look at it as a job, it's fun. Every day is fun.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.